Marefat School presents The Conference of the Plants. Written by Reza Nazami. Chapter 27. Understanding diversity and accepting the virtues and weaknesses of others.
Previously on. In the previous chapter, Turnip had a scary dream and turned to imagination to cope, while Date shared stories of Walnut Tree's bravery. Walnut Tree intervened, explaining that imagination isn't the way to face fear. He urged them to focus on reality and distinguish it from imagination for true growth. Now, let's move on to chapter 27, titled Understanding Diversity and Accepting the Virtues and Weaknesses of Others.
On a beautiful sunny morning, Walnut opened his eyes and smiled as he looked around. A cheerful thought crossed his mind.
I feel happy and light-hearted today. It's the perfect day to visit my friends and see how they're doing.
Beside him, Almond turned and said warmly,
Walnut, it looks like you're heading somewhere. Wherever you go today, I'll come with you. It's always a blessing to be by your side.
So, the two set off together, Almond following closely behind Walnut. Before long, they came across Date. Walnut greeted her gently.
Hello, dear Date. How are you feeling today? What's on your mind?
Date replied with gentle enthusiasm.
You know, Walnut, I made a decision last night. From today onward, I'm going to care for my own beauty. They say the sun is beautiful and loves all things beautiful. So I want the sun to see me as beautiful too. I've heard you say the gardener is full of beauty as well, and that inspires me to become more beautiful myself. I think my leaves should always be clean and shining, my stem straight, and my posture turned toward the sun. I don't want the sun, in all its splendor, to see me messy or untidy.
Walnut nodded with admiration.
What a thoughtful and wise decision you've made. I truly admire your effort. Care for your appearance, yes. But don't forget, the beauty of your thoughts and words matters just as much. Let your speech and your mind be as pure and lovely as your leaves and stems.
Date beamed and replied,
Of course, dear Walnut. I'll remember that. Thank you for your kind encouragement.
As they continued on, Walnut turned to Turnip and asked with a smile,
And you, dear Turnip, how do you plan to spend your day?
Turnip lit up at the question.
Hello, noble Walnut. Thank you for coming to see me and for asking after me. I plan to spend the day reading. I believe knowledge is the highest virtue a plant can have. I've heard that both the sun and the gardener are wise, and they cherish those who seek wisdom. Perhaps that's why they love you, because you are so knowledgeable and thoughtful. I want to read every day so that one day, I too may become as wise as you.
Walnut laughed softly and said,
That's wonderful. Wisdom is indeed the finest treasure a plant can hold. Keep reading, Turnip. Read a lot to learn a lot. I hope the day comes when you write your own book, and may it be a great success.
Turnip replied with joy.
Thank you, dear Walnut. Just your encouragement fills me with motivation.
With a warm smile, Walnut continued along the path until he came across Carrot and greeted him. Carrot responded happily.
Greetings, wise walnut, the beloved elder of our garden. What an honor it is to have you visit me. To be honest, I've been thinking for some time about following in your footsteps. I'd like to serve others selflessly, just as you do, and visit every plant in the garden to ask after their well-being. I'm sure it would bring them joy. In that spirit, I want to reach out to everyone in the garden, even the saplings and weeds, and ask how they're doing. I've heard the sun and the gardener love those who live with selflessness in their hearts.
Walnut let out a gentle chuckle.
I'm truly glad to hear that you're striving for selflessness. It's a noble goal, but don't forget to care for yourself and your family as well. In your dedication to others, make sure you also check in on your own well-being.
Carrot responded eagerly.
I'll definitely remember that, dear Walnut. Thank you for listening and encouraging me.
After saying goodbye to Carrot, Walnut made his way to visit Buxus. He greeted her warmly.
How are you today, dear Buxus? How is your day going?
Standing tall and proud, Buxus replied.
Oh, joy and happiness. You know, Walnut, my greatest goal is to live a joyful life. I've promised myself not to let sorrow take root in my heart. I'm proud to be known as the happiest plant in this garden, and I want to hold on to that title. I've heard that the sun and the gardener both favor joyful plants, and I know you carry that joy within you too.
Walnut nodded with calm sincerity.
Yes, I try to always be grateful. Gratitude and happiness are truly among life's greatest blessings. But take care, you may come across plants who feel lost or sad, who haven't yet discovered this secret. And while your empathy is beautiful, don't let their sorrow dim your light.
With a confident shake, Buxus said,
Don't worry, dear Walnut. I will take care of myself.
After parting ways with Buxus, Walnut went to check on Radish. In his quiet, shadowy nook, Radish greeted him with a weary smile and said,
Walnut, my days feel so heavy. I'm sad and uninspired. I don't know why I lack the will to do anything. It feels like the world has ended for me.
Walnut offered a gentle nudge of encouragement.
Why don't you try to be more active, dear Radish? It will help you shape a more beautiful physique and, without a doubt, make you feel happier and more motivated.
Radish sighed.
I've actually increased my physical activity, Walnut. But no matter what I do, I don't see any changes in how I look.
Walnut replied with heartfelt empathy.
Perhaps it hasn't been consistent. True progress comes with steady and regular effort. If you train one day but skip the next, it won't lead to lasting change. If you truly want to transform, you must commit to it every day.
Something lit up in Radish's eyes.
So, you think it's okay for me to focus on my body and appearance? You actually support that?
Walnut smiled in surprise.
Why not? Taking care of our bodies is valuable. Haven't you heard that our Creator is beautiful and loves beauty?
Overjoyed, Radish thanked Walnut warmly and said goodbye, heading off with renewed determination to become the most handsome radish in the world. Almond, who had been quiet until now, turned to Walnut with a tone of frustration.
Walnut, Your behavior today has really confused me. Why didn't you tell those plants they were wrong? Why didn't you remind them to focus on their inner growth instead of just their outward appearance? Why did you support what seemed like their mistakes and say nothing about spiritual goals?
Walnut looked calmly at Almond's troubled yet radiant face.
Don't be upset, Almond. Today's lesson was meant for you. Tell me, what did you learn?
Almond paused, clearly unsettled.
But Walnut, you barely spoke to me today. You talked to everyone else. How could this have been my lesson?
Walnut chuckled softly.
My dear Almond, if you stay curious and alert, even simple events can offer deep insight. If you had followed along with awareness, you might have seen the wisdom behind my actions.
Almond, now realizing he hadn't truly accompanied Walnut with full awareness, responded, feeling embarrassed.
Honestly, at the start of the day, I joined you with the intention of learning. But when I saw that your advice didn't match my expectations, I found it hard to remain fully present and attentive. I must admit, my expectations clouded my ability to observe. Please help me understand what I missed and regain what I've lost.
Walnut nodded with warmth.
Of course, I'll explain it to you. Because one day, you'll need to use this wisdom too. When I was younger and less experienced, I made a list of what I thought was right and wrong. And whenever I saw someone doing something that didn't match that list, I would quickly and proudly correct them. I'd tell them exactly how they should behave. For example, if I saw the date caring too much about her appearance, I'd rush to scold her, insisting she should care more for her soul than for her looks. I'd tell her that physical beauty fades and that real beauty lies within. I'd speak sternly and with too much certainty, saying, "Your body will wither one day. Seek the beauty of your spirit, for that is what lasts." If I saw a turnip lost in the pages of heavy, complicated books, I would say, "Wisdom and knowledge aren't gained just by reading. True learning comes from understanding life's lessons and putting them into practice. Don't overwhelm yourself with theory. Focus on your own experiences and the knowledge that grows from them." Had I been that young and inexperienced walnut, I would have told the carrot, "The plants in the garden are happy to see me because I show them love and affection. If you don't offer love to others, don't expect them to welcome you with joy." If I encountered Buxus, I would say, "You don't understand others, and that's why you're alone. You've convinced yourself that your loneliness is joy, but it's not true joy. Even though these words may hold truth, they won't have a positive effect. Sharing such truths would only bring them sorrow and take away their motivation." As I grew more, I came to understand that the world is far more complex and diverse than I had imagined. I learned that I couldn't correct everyone with a simple checklist or judge them based on my own biases. This realization was a painful one, and for a long time I was lost and bewildered. But eventually, my Creator granted me the ability to understand others. Now I speak with care, mindful of how my words might affect others. How could I tell Date, so focused on her external beauty, to abandon her desire for admiration and focus instead on nurturing her soul? It's clear that if she were to hear all her effort and adornment are fleeting and without true value, she would be overwhelmed with sorrow. Her joy and vitality would fade, and she would lose the motivation even for spiritual growth. But my advice planted a seed in her heart, a seed that will grow into a search for inner beauty, guiding her towards the true beauty of the soul and mind. Turnip, lacking true wisdom, seeks only intellectual knowledge. At this stage, he has no choice but to pursue mental understanding. But this pursuit, if nurtured, will eventually lead him to divine wisdom. I encouraged him to keep learning, planting the seed of writing his own life story in his heart. Carrot masks his selfishness and pride hide beneath a mask of false generosity, finding satisfaction in the illusion. But this is where his journey begins. In time, he will come to experience the true joy of giving and grow into a sincere seeker of it. For Buxus, the pursuit of happiness is clear. Today, I planted in him a seed of compassion and understanding. With time, he will come to value the ability to empathize with others and share in their burdens. Radish had become disheartened by Turnip's advice that physical beauty held no value for his soul. This saddened him deeply, but I knew that depression and stagnation lead to decay. I first helped him recognize the vitality of earthly life. In time, I will teach him the importance of spiritual growth. The most valuable tool for a wise teacher is the ability to understand and accept both the strengths and weaknesses of others. Almond, commit yourself to understanding this truth. Put in all your effort, and one day, Sun and Gardener will grant you this wisdom.